Hey guys, Hydra here, and this is Red Hood and the Outlaws. Rage is my revenge. Um, Last story arc of Red Hood was really good. This is a whole new arc. This one is going to be an emotional roller coaster, guys. So Rage is my revenge, and the cover really doesn't lead you up to fully understand what's about to happen in this book. This is a father-son story. This is a heartbreaking story. And if you're the kind of person that listens to Cats in the Cradle and has to fight off tears, then this might be an emotional ride for you. So if you're not familiar with Jason Todd, he's the son of criminals and drug addicts, and Batman basically essentially saved him. And here, we really start to find out a little bit more about Jason's past. Wonderful start off. The art in this is fantastic. This is Lobdell writing, Hercene, Win, and Burrito. Let's see here. Hercene. I don't know how you pronounce your last name, man. I'm sorry. He's on pencils. We got Ryan Wynn on inks, and Rain Burrito on colors. Trailer Esposito? Oh, Taylor Esposito. Whoops. So it's basically still the same thing happening. He's still going after the Penguin. He's still fighting off the Penguin's men, basically, from the last time we saw him. It's a nice little fight scene in the rain where we get to see Jason flexes martial arts abilities. As that fight's going on, we get a flashback scene. This is 1 hour earlier, formerly Mr. Gunn's School for Wayward Boys. Dear Jason, if you are reading this, it means I am not there to apologize in person. I'm not referring to the day we met when I took you into my home, intent on using you as I had so many other boys before you. I am sorry for everything since then. What I've done, what I do, failed you. What I failed to do. I kept these 6 letters from you when you were in my charge. The better to control you, to isolate you, maybe even protect you. Letters I now realize might have changed your entire life. Letters from your father. Read them with an open heart. Maybe someday you will forgive me. I'm certain I never will. With regrets, Faye. So, now we follow Jason basically reading his dad's story. His dad was thrown in jail. We find out that his dad was always a absolute low-life piece of shit drug dealer until he met Jason's mom, who is a very beautiful, very innocent, very wholesome and pure woman. He, of course, absolutely destroyed her life. He got her hooked on drugs. He got her attached to him. They eventually got married. The family didn't approve, so he took her away from her family, basically. She still stayed on drugs. He came home one day, thought she had OD'd. Turned out she was actually pregnant. He decided, I'm going to clean up my act. I'm going to be a real man. Of course, that didn't go out quite the way he planned. Turns out normal life wasn't good for him, so he eventually became a professional henchman. We then get a few flashbacks as he's going over the story of being a professional henchman, where we see all the different people that he's worked for. We also see that he really did love his son when he was first born, and he really did think he was going to be able to change himself. But he did what he thought he had to get by. So I both enjoy this, and I have some complaints about this. My complaints is that they are very much painting this as I had a hard life, I had no other choice, crime was my only outlet, that's why I do crime. But that's really not how it works in America. You always have a different choice. You never, ever have to reduce yourself to being a criminal or a drug dealer or somebody who destroys lives for a profession just to get by. There is always some sort of opportunity. Taking the life of crime is simply taking the easy way out. It's showing that you have no spine, that you're a weak person, you have no drive or dedication, and you are simply doing the easiest, most profitable thing first without any consideration into the future. But at the same time, I was raised by these types of people. My mom was a drug addict. My dad was a drug dealer. Both of them were lifetime criminals. When I was born, my dad cleaned up his act. My mother didn't. This is kind of very similar to this, except my dad tried to get a real job. My dad was already in crime, so when he cleaned up his act, he didn't go back to crime. That's just ignorant. Also, when you're a real criminal and you get in trouble, if you don't go to jail, you go on probation. And when you're on probation, if you keep doing crime, you go to jail. So yeah, he got in trouble. He didn't go to jail. Clearly, he would have been on probation, and they would have frowned on his life as a professional hench. But regardless, and setting all that aside, you just got to kind of look past that. And I feel like I may be looking a little bit more into that than most people would. It is a very good story. I like what they're trying to do there. As just coming from that type of life, I really hate seeing it painted as, it's the only option I have. But the people who take that path in life really do paint it that way, as it's the only option they have in life, until they finally realize their mistakes. Anyway, sorry for digressing for so long. Let's jump back to the story. So it turns out when Jason was born, he was a very sick child, and medical bills kept racking up. And that's what drove Jason's dad back to the hench life. He mentions that he even considered doing something more than just being a hench, like being a real bad guy himself. But to do that, you got to get used to being punched by people who punch professionally, or by people who live to punch. Which is some chintzy, stupid dialogue that you would expect to see in Marvel, but I'm going to let it slide because everything in this has been pretty good. So after reading all the letters, he finds out that his dad is going to stop writing them because he wants out of prison. He wants to see his boy, and he knows he's going to be spending life there, so he signs up for a government program. Doesn't really say what it's going to do, but we can assume that it's some sort of super soldier or bioengineering program. But Jason was told by the prison that his dad died in prison. So as we jump back to modern day, after the fight with the man in the rain, we see Jason digging up a grave. Penguin's watching him with a sniper. The sniper asks if he should take the shot. Penguin tells him to wait. That's when we see Jason pull a coffin out of the ground. He's doing a lot of plot exposition, talking about his father and how his father died in prison. He pops open the coffin. Lo and behold, it's empty. Penguin sees that, sees the amount of pain in his face and expression, tells the guy to go away, and he approaches Jason Todd and basically starts mocking the shit out of him. And that's pretty much the last we see of Jason is him screaming for his dad. That he doesn't want to care for him, but he can't not care for him because it's his dad. And that's... anybody who's had problems with their family members, I think, can really highly relate to this particular panel right here. The last page is just a quick little bit between Jason's dad and the prison guard as he's hauling the guy off. Jason's dad basically tells the prison guard that everything he does for his son. And the prison guard's like, you know what? You're a good dad, Willis. His name's Willis. Willis Todd. And Willis is like hell I am. And then that's when we get our next episode. The next issue is called Everything Gets Worse for Everyone. That sounds like a heartwarming follow-up to this fucking emotional roller coaster. So, Red Hood and the Outlaws is still fantastic. If you haven't been reading it, this is a perfectly fine part to jump on. You're not going to be out of the loop if you didn't read the other two before it. Check this out. It's $3.99. But, highly recommend it. I do wish Dexter Soy was still on art, but Hair Scene is good, so I can't complain. Alright, anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hail Hydra, baby.